is the RIOT podcast. Hello, everybody. We're having a good time.
Welcome to your podcast for today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, today in the show, we talk about wearing leopard print, pillows, Mars rovers, jelly beans. My favorite might be the cornflakes, if we're going to be really honest.
Yeah. Well, I'll just tease you guys. Well, we would normally just tease you a little bit, but I'll just say the cocaine cornflakes, that story.
What are you talking about, cocaine cornflakes?
I'll just tell you. So that way you can be prepared when it comes.
Man, I'll tell you what, it's the future of breakfast cereal everywhere.
I hope that doesn't become a trend. I don't want it to be like, yeah, we need to legalize cocaine cornflakes. I don't want to be here with that.
You know what, though? I'm telling you right now, 50 years ago, people were like, I don't want to legalize marijuana cigarettes. I don't want to be a part of the country where they're doing that.
It'll happen, and then if we're still doing the riot at that point, it'll be the RIOT food fight, and this will be the new breakfast line from Kellogg's, so I could see something going.
I did notice that they were markedly more excited after eating the cornflakes.
I know, and we lost all this weight. Because cocaine will do that.
Oh, man. Yeah. So let's see. We talk about Cam Newton, the quarterback for the New England Patriots. And after that, I lost track of what we talked about.
So that's, you guys will just be surprised at what else we'll cover in the podcast today.
Yeah. Surprised in a good way.
Very good way. Well, thank you guys for listening. As always, please say hi. Don't be shy. You can text us at 877-2-RADIO-U, and you can join us at RadioU Riot.
Stop on by.
Yeah, and make sure you say, hey, you're a podcast listener, and introduce yourselves to us.
All right. Anything else?
That's it. Have a great day.
All right, I guess.
You going to say goodbye?
No. I'm going to have a great day if you insist. I'll do it.
All right.
I'll do it for you, Nikki.
Say goodbye to everybody.
Bye.
This is RadioU's Worst of the Riot.
Nikki, what's your thought on leopard print?
On leopard print?
Shirts, dresses, and in this particular case, a jacket liner that is leopard print.
I think it works. It depends on your style. Normally, I don't go with the print at all, but I see a lot of people do it really well. So like you would wear, so you're saying you're okay with other people wearing an animal print, but maybe not you. Exactly. Yeah. I just tend to go with just a black solid print. So I don't know if we add leopard to that or maybe a muted leopard tone, but normally not me. But again, a lot of people can pull it off.
Well, what if it became a zebra print?
Even worse. I think that one would be worse.
Okay.
I'd go back to the leopard one.
I just know I'm looking at someone wearing leopard print. I'm just like, man, nope, I couldn't do it. I mean, it's fine that you are, I guess.
Well, I guess a jacket lining, though, is good because that's just like a little bit of style in there, but you're not having to wear the whole thing like that. So a jacket, the lining could be a good step into it.
I don't know, honestly, like completely seriously. I don't know if it's a lack of confidence or just an understanding of reality. But anytime I try anything on that looks like even remotely off from a solid color T-shirt and jeans, I'm just like, what are you pretending to be? Like it's all wrong. This is just wrong.
Well, again, no to the zebra print as well. So I think that would be even bolder.
Okay. I was just curious as to where you were on animal print.
Yeah,
I see it out. I see it out there, and okay. I mean, I could see you coming in that Adidas shirt, but it's animal print.
If they did a line like that, maybe. But again, it just depends on. Animal print goes in and out, so not sure if we'll catch that. But if you had something on this morning, then you're bolder than we are.
Yeah, the other side of it is it sure is early for animal print, right?
Well, yeah, that also is true.
Maybe that's the problem. Maybe we're getting dressed too early. Maybe if we were getting dressed later in the day, we'd be like, of course I want to make this bold choice.
Well, at 4:30 in the morning when you're getting dressed, you're like, I think I'll just go with this plain T-shirt. Yes, that looks good.
Do we have anything comfortable?
I think we'll go with...
Okay, we'll take that.
It's like we're one layer lower than even athleisure. It's like ours is not even official athletic wear. It's way at the bottom.
Yeah, it's just leftovers that become athletic wear.
That's exactly it. And most of that does not come in any print whatsoever.
Man, who has the money to purchase athleisure? That's expensive now.
We've got an archive of everything stupid the Riot has ever said at your fingertips. This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
You know, it's just one of those things where the internet both makes everything better and it ruins things for you. I was just sitting here thinking about how much I would like to go back to my pillow in my bed.
Yeah.
Two of my favorite things in the world. And then you're like, oh, my pillow? How about a lawsuit? What?
Is that how your brain's thinking this morning?
What? Don't sue my pillow. It's a good pillow. I love my pillow.
It's not your pillow. It's My Pillow, the company.
So apparently they are just in something of a tailspin. The CEO, Mike Lindell, he's been out there, election conspiracies, something. And then, of course, maybe if he was here, he'd say, it's not a conspiracy if it's true. I'm not trying to make value judgments. I am telling you
We're just concerned about the pillows.
The pillow, man.
The pillow. What's with the pillow?
So $65 million, they say, that the company has lost. And yesterday, he got hit with a lawsuit for $1.3 billion in defamation. That's against him personally from Dominion Voting Systems. They're the company that he's saying rigged the election.
With the fraud, yeah. So they're going after him. And basically, at the start, he's always been, has he always been political? But I don't
think so. I think there was a time
vocal, though, about politics. How about we say it that way? And so he's been that way for the last few years. And so retailers started, especially in the last year with all the voting stuff, they were pulling the MyPillow things and just said as the company, it will also have just a very big loss from last year.
Yeah, I'm not, he's a private citizen. He can do what he wants, but I just want you to know that, let's leave the pillows out of it. Just
let him be. What's going to happen to all the pillows? Where are they going to go?
I don't want something to happen to my pillow. And I don't mean My Pillow, the company. I mean My Pillow. Mm-hmm. But when I keep seeing My Pillow in the news, I'm like, wait, what are you talking about My Pillow for? Oh, wait, that.
Feel it's a personal attack against your pillow and not being able to sleep anymore?
It just makes me concerned. And, I don't know about anybody else, but I've been thinking about going back to bed ever since I got out of bed. In fact,
it's a sign.
I wasn't even out of bed before I started thinking about getting back into it.
Listen, it's safer. You can't be sued. There can't be a lawsuit if you're just asleep. If you never wake up to accept it, you can't have it.
Now, I'd like to tell you can't say anything offensive in your sleep, but that's not true.
That's also not true, yeah.
I've seen evidence very much to the contrary.
Well, so, I guess they'll still update, but yeah, there's a lot going on with that.
It amazes me. $65 million in losses and $1.3 billion in a lawsuit. Man, can you even imagine having $65 million to lose? Mm-hmm. You're just like, oh yeah, things are down. We're down $65 million this year. Oh, excuse me?
Listening to the Worst of the Riot is the equivalent of standing in line at the BMV. Ugh. Worst of the Riot. Radio U.
Do you ever have that moment when you realize it's subconsciously an idiot? It's not that you, if somebody said it out loud, you'd be like, obviously that's not wrong, but you've been running under that assumption for a while, and then it kind of comes to the light of day, and you're like, oh, yeah. I just want you to know that watching Wanda Vision, starring Elizabeth Olsen is also, she was in Godzilla, she's been in all of those Avengers movies, and probably a few other things I don't know, but as far as I'm concerned, she is the adult version of the girl from Full House.
Oh, the twins.
She just grew up, and that's her. And there's a direct line there.
But you forget she's just their sister.
Yes. So yesterday I saw a picture of Elizabeth Olsen with Mary Kate and Ashley, and I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot.
There's three. Maybe
there is.
Is there another sister too? I think maybe there's. Well, I have to look that one up. And is Elizabeth Olsen older than the other two, or who's the older ones? She's younger.
And she's a foot taller. I'm not kidding. I saw this picture and I was just like, is she standing in a box? And it's nope. She's just that much taller than her sisters.
Yeah.
And it was just this moment of it just freaked me out where I was like, oh my gosh. they're not the same. I knew that. I knew it. I knew it the whole time.
That's probably everything she hates about that whole thing, because she is probably always compared to the, what were their names? Mary-Kate and Ashley. Like, she's
Mary-Kate and Ashley.
Always just lumped into that.
Yeah, but that hasn't hurt her. Like, she's doing well. She's getting roles. Like, she's, in fact, I was reading yesterday this rumor where, like, basically they've been so impressed with her range in Wanda Vision that she's probably going to get like at least a movie, if not a couple of movies out of that. So,
Good
like
for her.
She's doing all right. It's just that it was weird, and it was just that moment where I was like, "Yep." Now I knew this was true. I knew this was true.
We get confused sometimes and we forget.
But in my little brain, y'all were the same people.
And I like you'll have to look up the height difference then to see, like, was she standing on a box? Are they all the same height, or is she just really tall?
I don't know. It looks like her sisters are, as I said, they're older than she is. As adults, they really do look different. But again, if you told me that Elizabeth Olsen was just the little girl from Full House, I'm like, yeah, of course. Obviously. They're all the same person. It's fine. It's no big deal. And, you could do worse. Like, hey, look, the beautiful rich person was mistaken for the beautiful rich people. Oh,
no. You're right. It could be worse.
At least, with me, they're like, if somebody's fat and funny, they're like, that's who you look like. So, could be worse, right?
But again, isn't it? No, it's not the same. It's not as nice.
It's not. It's fine.
There are some people that shouldn't have their own podcast. And by some people, we mean these people. RadioU's Worst of the Riot podcast.
NASA yesterday released the actual footage of the Mars Perseverance lander, or what they call it, a rover. Can you call it a lander? I don't know.
I think it's a rover.
They showed the video of, it's Mars, y'all. Like, that's the thing that gets me is I keep looking at these pictures and you can be like, nah, it's Arizona. Like, it's like...
Well, you're going to have to just trust him on that, all right? I know we can have a conspiracy theory and doubt everything, but why don't we just go ahead and push that to the side and say, wow, it's Mars. It really is.
Well, no, what I really mean by that is that I keep reminding myself that, like, hey, that's Mars in that picture. It's not, because, you really could look at it and be like, oh, yeah, that's in it's somewhere in the Middle East, or, somewhere where you're used to seeing a desert landscape. And it's like, no way, man, that is an actual other planet that, this thing is landed on. It's it's kind of incredible, right? And you get to watch it. Like, they've got cameras all over the thing, so you can actually watch it deploy its parachutes and different things like that. And in the video that I watched, they were showing it in, like, you could watch it in real time, and then they would do it in 30% speed, so you could watch it actually deploy and things like that. And it's crazy. Like, Nikki,
yeah,
we got a thing on Mars.
Yeah. So how long does it stay there? Does it die there? Does the rover never come back?
Just like you, once it goes to Mars, it's never coming home.
That's the fear. I'm no different than a rover. If they sent me to Mars, I'm never coming back.
You're going to go up there. It's going to be your new life.
Yeah, see how long it lasts there. It is neat stuff to see, though. But you're right. At first, when I looked at some of the pictures, I was like, hey, I went to Arizona. It really does look a lot like that. But when you remind yourself that it's Mars, it's extra special to be able to see that.
The only thing that I will say about Mars that it really has in common with Arizona is,
it's a dry heat.
Well, it just seems like when you walk out there, you're like, well, okay, we saw it.
There's not a lot to do.
There's not a lot there. It's not like, let's check out the trees and the whatever. They're like, hey, we got a rock, and then over here there's like another rock. Now that makes me a poor geologist, friends, and I get that.
Well,
I do.
You gotta appreciate the beauty, even though it looks like there's not much there. I'm sure there's lots of layers of lots of stuff.
It's crazy. The only thing I'll say is, I do. There is still. This is so terrible, but it's so true. Like, I think it's real. I'm sure it is. It is.
Just
it's real.
Yes, we have to just go with it. But neat. So
Yeah.
was this taken during, what was that 7-minute thing where, like when the
Yes. Yeah, it's
Perseverance rover landed, technically that's during that 7 minutes of like, you don't really get to see it while it's happening and everybody just hopes that the rover makes it. So this was the footage from when they had lost kind of like contact with it.
That's right. This is the 7 minutes of terror, or whatever they referred to it as. The video they released is about 3.5 minutes. Where's the other 3.5 minutes?
Show us the footage.
Show us the footage. The Martians did something to it. No, but it is. I mean, like, you can literally watch just the descent as it quite literally hits the ground on Mars. It's wild.
We would give the Riot flowers to show our appreciation, but Obadiah's probably allergic. What isn't he allergic to? This is the Riot on RadioU.
I don't want to exaggerate too much, but can we just have a moment of meaning between us here? Just some honesty. Coffee is life. It just is.
That's a very popular hashtag, and I believe a branding for a lot of clothing and just personal beliefs.
And I mean, it's not like I'm not trying to make some kind of a whatever statement. I'm just trying to speak truth in love, y'all, and that's where we are. Like, coffee is life. We need the coffee. And so when we see people taking coffee and putting it in other things, I have mixed feelings about it, Nikki.
Well, don't you think makes, if you love coffee so much, do you think it makes something better automatically because it now has coffee power to it? Or, do you not like that it gets taken and put in all these things and so coffee itself gets watered down?
Well, see, and that's the question, isn't it? If you take coffee and you just put it in something, is that something suddenly better? Or should I be angry about the way the coffee has been abused and mistreated?
Now for this,
I'm not sure.
We love coffee, but I don't know about you, but I'm not a fan of the delivery source of this one all the time, but maybe it'll make it a little better.
So here we have Dunkin' iced coffee flavored jelly beans.
Jelly beans.
You know what? The right kind of jelly bean, I think, can be quite good.
What's the right kind? You're just saying that, but I need you to actually tell me what's the right kind.
Have you had Starburst jelly beans?
Okay, those are actually pretty good. The rest of them, though, are no good. But for these are the Dunkin' iced coffee flavored. So there's 5 flavors of coffee ones in the packet. You could get a toasted coconut, a buttered pecan, a French vanilla, a caramel latte, and a hazelnut jelly bean.
Which one's your choice? Toasted coconut, buttered pecan, French vanilla, caramel latte, or hazelnut?
Toasted coconut, maybe in the French vanilla. I'm sure they all, especially in the bag together, I'm sure they'll all taste pretty similar.
The really important question that I have is, can you tell me, are they caffeinated? Because if they're not, what are we even doing?
I don't think they are, but that is a good question. It's worth checking. But as far as what I'm seeing, no, it does not look like it. And I think this is a Walgreens exclusive, so they're not available online or anywhere else.
I'm trying to think what I have near me. Is it a Walgreens or a CVS? Mm-hmm. And I love how those two companies pretend to be different companies.
They're not really. They say look
it's
near
exactly the same, but it's not the same.
They say go near the Easter candy, and that's probably where you can find them.
Yeah. All right. Well, there it is. You can have yourself some Dunkin' iced coffee jelly beans. That's fine. I typically don't go in for coffee flavored things because often when I find something that's coffee flavored, I'm like, hey, this is great. Where's the coffee?
Mm-hmm. Let's see. That's a good question. Is it a Jelly Belly brand? Ashley was wondering. I don't think they're Jelly Belly ones. I think it's just jelly beans.
Yeah, I don't see anything about it being that kind of collab. Jason says, I think coffee needs to stay the way it is. Jared says, my inner 5-year-old just said, if you love coffee so much, you should marry it.
Why don't you?
I'll tell you why. Because I don't want to end up in one of those articles and one of those people that are like, they married themselves or they married a pillow.
No.
He married coffee.
It's always like, well, they married the bridge or the Ferris wheel. So you don't want to be the person that married the bag of Dunkin' iced coffee jelly beans.
But the other side of that is it would be the first person who did that where I'd be like, yes, I understand that.
That's right.
I get that.
You get some press on that.
The Riot has now been downloaded. Hope you installed some antivirus. This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
So we're putting protein in our energy drinks. We're putting energy drinks in our coffee. Or are we putting coffee in our energy drinks? I don't know. But we're putting stuff in stuff in stuff. That's what we do, right? Well, I'll tell you what we're doing now. And then I'm telling you, this is a mistake now, but it's out there. It's lingering. And I'm talking about corn flakes that are coated in cocaine.
Oh, the one, I think it was in Cincinnati, right? Where they found 44 pounds of cocaine cornflakes, which is that a thing?
That's no accident.
I didn't know that's how we do this.
I found the coffee was starting to not work for me, and I was having a really hard time waking up. But with these all new cocaine cornflakes, I can go all day.
Well, did you have your morning cocaine yet at this point? They said that it was cornflakes coated in cocaine. Basically, it had a white powder, and the flakes were coated with a grayish substance, and they tested positive for cocaine when a narcotics dog alerted officials to the 44 pounds of cereal.
So it was going from Hong Kong to South America, and it passed through the United States. And that's where it got a little sniffy sniff for a little druggy drug. And the next thing you know, everybody's like, these cornflakes are good.
What is this stuff? So it was actually coming from South America to Hong Kong. And
so it was the other way around?
I think it was the other way around. And
you're right, from South America to Hong Kong.
So they tested positive. They have a history, We've seen a lot of creative ways to ship cocaine into different countries, and they say that this was a different way. They said one of the other ones, they had individually hollowed out coffee beans, and the beans had cocaine hidden inside of the tiny coffee beans.
Man, that sounds like a lot of work.
Yes, it does,
keeping in mind that, I guess there's a lot of money in illicit drugs, but still.
And those were sent to a character, a mafia boss from John Wick 2. Those are being mailed to that character, and they intercepted it and found those out. So people try different things.
Are you kidding? No, don't be clever. Send it to Bob Sheboygan or something. You don't send it to the name of a mafia boss from a movie.
So everybody's question seemed to be, how do they get the cocaine off of the cornflakes? How does that work out?
Honestly, I would imagine that you would soak them in water and you would let it settle out. Mm-hmm. Because, think about, you put cornflakes in water, soggy, but...
Oh my gosh.
The sugar just kind of falls off into the bowl.
No, I just thought of something. And this is terrible to say, but what about if it's the cocaine cereal milk? Everybody likes cereal milk? You just have it that way. Oh.
I never have my cocaine on an empty stomach, which is why I use
cereal
this milk.
Oh,
now,
no.
This milk has been fortified with protein and caffeine to help it all go down easier.
Just hoping you wouldn't notice that part. So the 44 pounds of cocaine cornflakes has been intercepted. That was in Cincinnati, and no word on where they're at now, but I'm sure they're in storage somewhere.
Dang.
How to survive the riot. Do the complete opposite of everything they say. You're listening to The Riot on RadioU.
Now, we haven't heard from Cam Newton this morning, but I was checking in on some things that he had to say on his podcast, Dickie. Not on his podcast, on somebody else's, but he was the former NFL MVP, and he had his first season at the New England Patriots this year, and statistically, if I'm reading this right, because I didn't watch all the games, they say he threw more interceptions than he did touchdowns.
Uh-oh.
That's not a good stat.
No, that's probably not the one you want to be the first stat that they're saying about you.
Yeah. So there have been a lot of rumors floating around that Cam Newton was going to retire, and then he said something that caught my eye. He said that he, is not going to retire, and he says there aren't 32 guys better than me. Mm-hmm. And the reason that caught my attention was, wouldn't it be interesting to think, highly enough of yourself that you could make a statement like that? Because I can right now authoritatively tell you there are definitely 32 guys better than me.
Well, I mean, so is that a humble a humble spirit we're having with that, and he just is maybe not as much?
Well, I mean, that's a possibility, but I'm just telling you, like, I'm not even being humble. I'm just being truthful. Like, we're just having a moment of hashtag real talk here on the show. And so, I mean, of course, Cam Newton saying that there aren't 32 people better than him. Maybe, some people would argue, yes, there's 33 people that are better than you. Or, there are 28 people. I don't know. I just know that when I read that, I was like, man, it would be awesome to look at yourself in the mirror and be like, hey, there are not 32. Not even, there's nobody better than you. Not even that. He's just willing to add that number. There are 32 people better than you. And when I get, again, real about the world, there's like 7 billion people here. I feel confident saying there are 32 people. It doesn't make me bad.
Sure.
I'm not a bad person. I'm fine.
Confident about that. Basically, he says he intends to keep playing. He would like to still play for the Patriots. He says, I can't go out like that. I hear all that talk. My pride won't allow me to do it. There aren't 32 guys better than me.
See? Look at that. There aren't 32 guys better than me. Wow. That's awesome, dude. I hope it's true. For you. Like, I hope that's like a real
thing. If not, you got to go into this talk with that right energy, so then that way they want to keep you on as a player.
Sure. I get that.
Is his energy the right one? I don't know. That's up for interpretation on if it's the right way to go into it or the wrong way. But he doesn't want to go out that way.
They pull me into a meeting at RadioU, and they're like, so are you thinking about retiring? And it's like, well, I don't want to retire. I think I'm probably too young to retire. I have no money. But there are 32 guys better than me. So you guys decide what you want to do with that.
He was talking about also, he had COVID-19, and he said he didn't suffer any symptoms from it. It didn't really affect like his playing ability, except for his loss of smell. That was it. But by the time he went back to New England for the lineup, they said that he had lost some time with all the COVID stuff, that did not help him.
Well, man, see, again, better than me because I did have COVID-19 and it did affect me. So
so you're just the exact opposite of Cam Newton.
The Riot really wanted to do this live, but now they can play video games and eat rice cakes instead. This is the worst of the Riot podcast.
There's been a lot of contention about 2020 being like the worst year, but this year's going to be better. Everything's going to change. We're
Better
as in
so
like better.
Worse than that? Like you can top that, or better you mean we'll actually have a better year of nicer things?
They're saying a better year of nicer things, but I'm going to tell you that this is something that I am a little concerned about. And that is, I'm reading up here on the Brood X cicadas. Have you been looking at this?
Oh, the bugs?
So apparently cicadas have a 17-year, they emerge every 17 years. So however that cycle works. But you can still find cicadas every year because different ones are on different cycles. Well, Brood X, which is considered to be among the largest of the cicadas, has a 3-inch wingspan and is 2.5 inches in length.
Oh, that is something. I don't want to see that.
They look utterly terrifying.
They do. Wow.
It says that you'll see them in about 14 states in the United States. So West Coast, you guys are off the hook. Even Central America, which is the wrong way to say that, the Midwest. But when you get into the eastern half of the country, Georgia, Tennessee, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, New York, Michigan, you're going to get the opportunity. And they say that they're between 80 and 100 decibels, which is roughly like somebody running a lawnmower. That's how noisy their wings can be when they flap.
Yeah.
And they say as soon as we hit about 64 degrees, they'll begin to emerge.
Oh, wonderful. Just when you start to open the windows up, right? Air everything out. That's when you're like, oh, is someone mowing already? It's not. It's just a bunch of these bugs.
I've been so desperate for spring, and they're just like, now, along with spring, keep in mind that these terrifying, loud bugs are going to be right there with you.
Yeah. Whee! Oh, how exciting. Well, it's just nice to know and plan that you have some good stuff coming up, including these type of cicadas.
Hey, I just want to go ahead and let you know that it's out there. It's, as we said, something to look forward to. And, I wasn't going to, but it might be time to grab that Hibernal and just go straight to 2022. Like, it might...
Is this, or
it might be time to do that.
Do you think maybe it's better if we just try to sleep till summer and they should be died off by then? Or you just want to write off the whole year?
I'll tell you what. I'll get up 2 days before my birthday. That should be enough for me to shake off the cobwebs a little bit, and I'll enjoy that. But that way I'm headed right into the fall, and maybe that's for the best, really.
I like Katie's text. I'll take screechy bugs if I can go outside finally. That is a trade-off. You will be able to go outside, but they'll be there too.
You know what? That's I can feel that. Andy wants to know if they're going to be worse than normal cicadas. Andy, they say yes, so... I guess do with that what you will. Fingers crossed.
Hopefully so. Don't disappoint us now. I don't want to find out that that's not true.
Yeah. Really excited about going outside.
Oh,
go outside
yay.
and you're attacked by cicadas.
Even if you don't go outside, these are so wonderful that you'll hear them from outside.
That's
so
right.
You won't miss out on this.
Good times, everybody.
Are people really still listening to the riot? You don't have work to do or laundry to fold or literally anything else to do? The Riot, Radio U.
This may come as some sort of a shock to you, but where elections are concerned, sometimes people, do a little extra with the hope of getting a little extra. What do I mean? Is this about the election? Is he a Republican? Is he a Democrat? I hate this station. I hate this show. I hate that guy.
Hey, everybody. I don't think they were going that far. I don't think so.
Look, I'm just talking about the Golden Globes.
For the Golden Globes, when they announced the nominations for it, there was one show that people really had a problem with that it was nominated. And it's this Netflix show called Emily in Paris. People just said it wasn't really Golden Globe material, but it found its way into the nominations. But people were very upset about it.
I mean, I watched one clip of Emily in Paris, and I laughed enough to remember it, but not enough to watch it.
Not to watch the whole thing.
Yeah, something about her coming off the plane and being like, I studied Rosetta Stone on the plane, and I was like... There's something funny about how stupid that is. But anyway, so everybody, as Nikki was saying, is like, how did it get nominated for these Golden Globes? Well, it turns out that more than 30 members of the Hollywood Foreign Press Association, who, by the way, are the ones that make the choices on the Golden Globes, they got to travel to Paris to visit the set of the show. During the trip, they stayed at the 5-star Peninsula Paris Hotel. And they also were given a tour of apparently an elite private museum, not exactly something that is easy for them to get into. And they say that as Golden Globe peeps, they're not allowed to accept a gift of more than $125.
Oh, but this was more than that.
Yes. And so they're actually saying, like, what are you talking about? Like, this is perfectly normal. We do this all the time. Come on. Yeah.
So they were saying that some of the
it's
issues...
It's all a scam.
Some of the issues are that the hotel they stayed at, $1,400 a night, the travel that was included, the food and everything. It was all courtesy of Paramount Network, who did the show. And this, again, was back in 2019 when they were filming it. So they just had people be a part of it. They said that, well, maybe this gift and this trip caused problems with the Golden Globe nominations and why this show got nominated when there were other shows that had critically, acclaimed shows that did not get the nominations instead of it.
Well, that's the only other thing about this that I kind of laugh at just a little bit, where you're just like, so let me see if I'm getting this right. You're telling me that you guys are mad because this show that you don't like got nominated and your show that obviously deserved it didn't? you get what I'm saying.
Well,
when
I feel like this must happen all the time. But yeah, why is this being brought up so much? People really had a problem with this show getting Golden Globe nominations. Like they really had an issue about it. But I guess if it won a Golden Globe, they'd be even more mad.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you this right now. If anybody wants to put me in a $1,400 a night hotel in Paris, I'll vote for your thing. Like, oh, Obadiah, you shouldn't be so easy to buy. No, that's why I'm not on anything. I'm that easy to buy.
So he would like the trip included and food. You don't need to do the museum tour unless you want Obi. I mean, you can help save them some money by not having to do all that stuff.
I don't know. It might be nice.
Well, I guess while you're there.
Get a little culture while we're there. So, sure.
Using advanced technology, we've digitized and transcoded Obadiah and Nikki into a purely digital format. This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
I might, could be. I mean, we're dealing with words that are not, rock solid proclamations here. I might watch Superman and Lois live tonight, Nikki. I think they may have effectively sucked me in.
Yeah, but why live? Like, why don't you just wait till tomorrow or the weekend? You don't want to appear so eager. You want to just wait. You don't need to. Are you showing your support? Is that it?
Well, but, don't you think we probably need to talk about it on the show tomorrow?
Well, yeah, I guess if you live or do we even have the ability to watch live anymore?
Well, I don't know. They say it's 2 hours. It's on the CW tonight, but it's also a what do you call it? Like, it's only 90 minutes when you pull the commercials.
Oh,
so
sure.
I could start it at, say, 8:30.
And then skip ahead.
And skip through the commercials, and I would be just fine. So it's something to think about. I'm pulling up my DVR right now. I got to make sure that I'm ready to record it tonight because... Sorry. They got me. I try not to let them get me. I try not to be interested in things.
How long has it been?
I try not to like things.
Since you've actually sat down and watched a whole show, right? Like on this at the same time it was actually airing.
That wasn't live sports?
Yeah, it wasn't sports.
24, maybe.
So a very long time.
And even that would have been like like just for the premiere. So, I don't know. Like, I don't know, Nikki. Like, I don't know. But I think, like we can make a little exception. And does it count as live if I started at 8:30 and watch it without commercials?
Well, I just mean you're watching it at the same night, like the actual night it's airing. I guess it's worth trying, but no pressure. If you find yourself getting closer to the start of the show tonight and you don't want to anymore, we won't be mad at you when we find out that you didn't do it.
Well, what if it was something like this? What if I at least started it? Like,
Yeah,
I could
that's
start
fine.
it, and then I'll come in and be like, well, I like it so far. And then...
As long as you don't come in, you're like, I watched 5 minutes of it, because that's not enough time if you're going to plan on watching it. You need to give more time than that.
It's going to be good. The only thing that I am a little concerned about, to be honest, is that I'm afraid that this is a show that is really about Superman's kids, and they're just acting like it's about Superman. Because, listen, I don't need the high school antics of the Superboys navigating the difficulties of adolescence while having a superpowered dad and feeling the pressure of never living up to him because he's Superman and I'm just a person, Dad.
You don't want that?
Okay, I didn't come from Krypton, okay? Quit throwing it in my face.
So if it ends up being that way, you won't be too happy, but we'll see what happens.
Oh, yeah. I mean, when I see the poster for it, it makes me a little nervous, but I'm still willing to give it a shot.
And what is it called on CW?
Superman and Lois.
And Lois, okay.
So, we'll see.
The Riot is well-versed on many different topics.
They're shy at first, but they're quite skilled at conversation.
This is The Riot on RadioU.
How many people don't want to go to work today? Wow. Look at all these hands.
Everybody's hands raised.
Please keep one hand on the wheel, ma'am. Please. Like, I really appreciate it if you could do that. Thank you. Wouldn't want to have any trouble. We've all been there. Most days, honestly, like, I don't mind coming to work. I like what Nikki and I do. I know not everybody gets to be able to say that about their job, and I'm sorry. But even with that being said, there have been plenty of days that I've contemplated, a fake kidnapping, so maybe I wouldn't have to come in.
Well, some people feel this way on like the day after like your favorite game or a console comes out or like a sporting event or something, and you know that you're going to be up really late and you just don't want to go to work or class for the next day. So what are you going to do about it?
Well, I'll tell you what you do. You go ahead and you get a friend and you have them tie you up next to the city water tower. Did he shove something in his mouth too? Was it
a bandana stuffed in the mouth?
A bandana stuffed in his mouth?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. The photo is legit. So here's what it comes down to.
And this is in Arizona.
Yeah. Brandon worked at Tire Kingdom, the tire factory.
The tire factory.
And he didn't want to go to work. So this is crazy. So he goes ahead and he has himself, he's got his hands tied up. He's got this thing in his mouth. And when the police find him, he's like, man, these two guys knocked me unconscious. And then I don't know what happened. I'm out here at the water tower.
So the cops come, obviously he gets rescued, and then they realize that he made it all up.
Here's what I love.
Didn't have any of that happen.
He actually, with his hands tied behind his back, scooted out to the side of the road so that somebody would see him and call the police.
Listen,
so he didn't just...
He put in, I think, more work during that morning of trying to get out of work than if he just would have gone to work that day. But he tried. He tried to make it look convincing.
Yeah. So we don't know what exactly it was that they did to figure it out. They just said they did some investigations and determined that the story was fabricated and no kidnapping or assault occurred.
So
now, the sad part about this...
he was arrested on the 17th, and he's been fired from the tire factory. So now he doesn't have to go in anymore.
That's what I was going to say. This is the dual nature of difficulty here, because on the one hand, yes, he's not going to have to go to work anymore. On the other hand, crap, now he's going to have to find another job. So in some ways, this was effective. I mean, he has gotten lots of days off.
So they were saying that he had been telling the police officers and stuff that his dad had saved and hid money throughout this town in Arizona, and that these guys were trying to kidnap him to get the money. So they had this whole story attached to it, but they figured out that it was a lie, no kidnapping, no nothing, and he was arrested.
You're listening to the worst of the riot. RadioU.
Nikki, can't we just throw money at the problem and make it go away?
Not if it's money problems, because you don't have money to throw at the problem. So it depends
what an insightful answer.
It depends
That's
on what
a good one.
Depends on what the problem is and what can you do to help the problem.
Okay, all right. Good one. Okay, good answer. Here's what I'm dealing with is that in my house, I keep having like Wi-Fi disconnection. Like it seems like issues of, shall we say, throughput on my wireless router and stuff. And I mean, I only care a little. Like I don't care enough to whatever. And then I thought, well, I'll just go buy a new router.
Yeah.
Good routers are crazy expensive.
They are.
Like, have you looked at Wi-Fi? Like it's insane. So I have the exact same kind of like wireless system in my house that we have in the radio station.
Yeah.
And what's really funny is it's really good and it's cheap compared to, you go to the store and they're like, we have this spaceship with 18 antennas on it. Do you want to take it home? It's $1,000, but you get really good Wi-Fi. And I'll have to say that I'm getting to the point where that's what I want to do.
Oh, you want to throw more money at? But then that's not going to guarantee a fix of the problem.
No, because those routers, I'm sorry, everybody, are for dummies, and they'll do all the whatevers. The enterprise system that I purchased, Ubiquity, I have to do all the troubleshooting myself, and I've got to open up logs and look at streaming records and figure out, blah, blah, blah.
That's what's keeping the price down. That's why.
I know. And so I want it to work, but I don't want to troubleshoot it. So I want to throw money at the problem.
So what if the problem, though, is not you or anything in your infrastructure? What if it's the service?
The cable company?
Yeah, what if it's the service you're using? What if you cannot actually fix it?
Then we're going to sue them.
Because I think that tends to be more the problem nowadays because of such overload and what they're doing to keep from overloading. You don't get as much. I think that's more of a potentially an issue, and it wouldn't be worth spending so much money on trying to redo your whole setup if it's not going to actually help it.
You're right. Okay, you're right.
Just troubleshoot without buying anything new and then wait and see if you have to, or borrow something, or I don't know what else. But I just have a feeling with you and your area, maybe it's them, it's not you.
You know what we need to do? We just need to move somewhere. I can get fiber internet? And I'm actually thinking about it. It is, okay, internet prices where I live are terrible, but because of various work things that have to happen, I'm paying what, $90 a month for
That's so much money.
Whatever I'm getting, and it's not that great.
Sure.
But for $120 a month, I can get 1 gig down.
Yeah.
And I've been thinking about it just because.
Now you're just mad. Try it for a week or a month. Why don't you just try it to see if it helps?
See if it actually matters?
Yeah, and then that'll be the way to tell you. Even though, will they allow you to just try it for a month? Are you allowed to?
I don't think I have to sign a contract. Okay. I think that the only thing I would have to make sure is I need to make sure that I have a cable modem that is capable of handling those
that much
speeds.
power.
And I don't know if my current one is, because it's probably 7 or 8 years old, so I'll have to go look. You know what, guys, let's shut down the show. Nikki and I are going to start up our Wi-Fi podcast, and we're going to talk about network infrastructure and how to get the best for your home.
Oh, yay. So head on over to our RIOT podcast. That'll be a new one. It's not even on the worst of RIOT. We're going to have to create its own series for this.
You know what? I got to tell you guys, I'm getting worse and worse at keeping the pulse of the people, of talking about things that people care about. It's time for me to resign. We need to get some young blood in here.
The Riot. Just because it's bad doesn't mean it's not good. Wait, isn't that exactly what it means? It's The Riot on RadioU.
The reality of it is, Nikki, I want to make sure that I get my internet set up perfectly so that when Avatars 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 are finally streaming on Netflix, I can get the highest quality possible.
Well, that's
what this is all about. This whole thing is a drive towards Avatar.
Listen, it's about having a game plan, and sometimes you got to start work early on this setup to make sure that by the time those things actually come out, whatever year that might be, Obi's all ready to go.
So I'm actually reading up on, they're shooting 14 Avatar films right now. And one of the things I didn't know is that Kate Winslet is going to be in Avatar 2. Mm-hmm. And apparently, I don't know a whole lot about it, but they're filming underwater. And I've been reading this interview with her. She took these natural pearl diving, whatever classes to get to the point that she could hold her breath underwater for 7 minutes.
Whoa. Wow. Yeah, that would take a lot of training to learn how to do.
How do you do that?
Well, you just train your body.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Hear that, body? Get ready for 7 minutes. We're going to hold our breath. I'm sure it took a long time to learn breathing techniques, and probably mostly just to not panic.
Yeah, well, I'm just amazed. And so the idea is, I've read some of this stuff where it's some of it has to do with these breathing techniques where you basically oversaturate your blood with oxygen, and that way you can survive longer. And so, et cetera, et cetera. They also say it's incredibly dangerous because it's a great way for you to die because you can, in using some of these techniques, you can actually end up passing out and not knowing it because passing out works that way. And by the way, you're underwater, so now you're really screwed. But
thank you for that. I just didn't realize that.
Well, Nikki, I was trying to explain
it all, right? Wow, she said she had to learn how to free dive to play the role in Avatar. Longest breath hold was 7 minutes and 14 seconds.
What the heck? You know what? I tried holding my breath to read this article last night. I got to like 30 seconds.
Okay. So there's a record that's been around for like underwater breathing for movie stuff. And it was previously held by Tom Cruise for underwater filming with Mission Impossible Rogue Nation. He had been underwater for 6 minutes, and she beat that by the minute 14.
Well, get ready for Mission Impossible 9, which features an elaborate 15-minute underwater sequence as performed by Tom Cruise.
I feel like Tom Cruise is a bit competitive, so I could see like the next Mission Impossible movie just being all underwater, and you have to hold your breath for the whole movie, and that's just the type of person I feel like he is.
And you have to hold your breath to watch it.
Exactly. Like, we can't watch the movie unless we're underwater as well.
They're retrofitting cinemas now with tanks.
Worst of the Riot podcast.
Nikki, did you see that SpaceX is about to launch the youngest American ever into space?
So is SpaceX the Elon Musk one?
Yes, they bought a baby and they're putting it in a rocket and they're shooting it into orbit.
Yay! A baby in space, which will be either I feel like a documentary or some sort of animated movie. I can see that being.
We've trained the baby to push the red button so it knows to come back.
No, it's not. It's not a baby, but the youngest person will be a 29-year-old. Wow, that is something.
Yeah, her name's Haley Arsenault. She's 29. She's a cancer survivor. She's a physician's assistant at St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. But they were saying that 20 years ago, she was actually a patient there. And so normally they say that her medical condition would have disqualified her because she actually has rods in her, I think it was her left leg due to the cancer that she fought when she was younger. But she has been cleared for space flight, and she is officially the crew's medical officer.
Oh, very good. Congratulations to her. So SpaceX said that it's going to send 4 civilians into orbit on Crew Dragon capsule. It's the first time a crew without a single professional astronaut would fly into space.
I mean, I'm not going to say that it's any less terrifying, but it's pretty dang cool.
That is neat. Right? Awesome.
Yeah. I think it's cool. And, you know, this gives me hope that one day I will get to be an astronaut.
No, I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think we have maybe the same push or desire as some of these people that are going to make it up there.
Nikki, how come every time I have a dream, you're just like, nah?
No, I want us to be realistic, and I don't think deep down that is your dream. I don't think you deep down really want to go up either. Not right now.
All right, not right now. Maybe later.
Maybe. Okay, fine. We won't shut the door to completely never, ever saying yes to it, but not right now. We'll let someone else who is more deserving go up there.
Okay. Well, what?
I said that on purpose. We could be deserving too, okay?
In other ways.
Just maybe not the same, but congratulations to that crew for being picked who will be going up.
This was the worst of the Riot, and we'd like to congratulate you on having the stomach to stick around to the very end. The Riot exists because RadioU exists, and RadioU only exists because of your support. Find out more and give now at RadioU.com/donate.
You know what? I'll tell you who the big bag is in this room.